Lulu, you're really into that bully stick. Did you enjoy the session? I had a lot of fun playing with you. You're awfully cute. This is Lulu's roadmap to success. Now, the primary thing that the Guardian wanted to work on was potty training the dog. And we have a video above. I'm going to put one little addendum to it. There's above on the deck upstairs, there is a little piece of AstroTurf. We took her outside to potty, but we were kind of chatting, and the AstroTurf was on the far side of the balcony. Lulu just went ahead and popped a squat and peed right in the middle of the floor. So what I would do is I would take her out on a leash when you're taking her up to the patio. Take her and walk over there so that she doesn't have a choice but to be on there. And then if she goes potty on the gray, we want to give her a reward for going inside, or outside, excuse me. We want to give her a special reward if she goes on the actual AstroTurf. So if she goes on the AstroTurf, we're going to give her those 5 treats. We're going to come up with a fun, unique command word that means potty, Putin, or whatever you want to say. And we're going to say Putin, Putin. So remember, the treat goes in the mouth first, and then she hears the command word right after. So that's my little addition to the potty training tricks. Now, the other activity, we have a video above of teaching her the sit, down, up, and stand. Those are things you should try to do with her maybe 3 to 5 times a day. It should be very short, 20, 30 seconds is all it should take. And once she's really got all of them down and she can do them very easily, then we want to switch her over to just doing one at a time. So we're just kind of hanging out and she's laying down. Hold the treat a couple inches over her head in front of her nose and just say up. When she comes up, give it to her and just say up, and don't do the other commands. Otherwise, they kind of associate all the commands together. We want to be able to give her an up command because we want to put her on a harness or whatever the reason is by itself and not have to worry about her standing and doing the other things. I'd like the Guardian also to make sure she puts a real premium effort on petting with a purpose and passive training. So right now, the Guardian pets her so much, let me adjust you a little bit, that she really doesn't have to ask for attention. So what I'd like the Guardian to do is, even if the Guardian wants to pet her, still ask her to sit, then pet her under her chin and say just the word sit. Not good sit, not good girl, not Lulu, just sit. And not sit, sit. Say it consistently. Dogs hear pronunciation. Every time the dog comes and lays down next to us right here, crash. Just pet her. All we're doing is narrating. Now, this is actually passive training. Passive training is just basically petting the dog after it does something on its own voluntarily. So if she goes over and sits down next to you, reach over and pet her and say sit. She lays down next to you, pet her and say crash. Petting with a purpose is making the dog do something before you pet her if you just want to do it or she's demanding attention. So she just looks cute and you want to pet her and she's sitting, ask her to come and sit over here. So she sits, pet her and say sit, and then you can pet her for an hour. But I just want her to think that I can't tell the humans what to do. I have to ask and I have to pay for it through good obedience. And if I'm obedient to my Guardian, then they'll pet me. Now, we talked about manding a little bit off camera, and that's all manding is, just simply petting the dog when she does the thing that we want her to do. After a while, she'll just go and sit in front of people and say, I'm sitting, why aren't you petting me? Because that's what I've been taught. That's a proper way to ask for attention. We went through the escalating consequences to disagree with unwanted actions behavior. The Guardian took good notes, but call me or text me if you have any questions for that. We also went over how to use the dog bed. I like having a dog bed in every room that I hang out in a lot so the dog has a different place to go, and each dog bed should have its own unique command word. Remember, try to come up with fun command words and expressions rather than just saying bed. Say beach, say Cabo, say Sicily, whatever you want to come up with a word that's kind of funny and inside joke with you. Also, come up with a naughty dog name for her. So when she's doing something you don't like, we can say a name and she knows that means that she's kind of in trouble or not doing the right thing. Let me see. Also, make sure you get in the habit of not walking around her. If she's asleep or sitting on the floor, we can walk around her. If she's standing, walk through her if she's in your path to wherever you're going. She needs to learn when a human comes, my job is to defer and get out of the human's way. That's one of the ways that dogs develop a follower mindset. Also, some of the rules we went over: not being allowed in the furniture for at least 30 days, or as long as the problem's still going on. Having to sit before I let her in or out of a door. The only exception for that is during potty training. We don't want to have her having accidents, so we might forego that one until she's sufficiently potty trained. Not being within 7 feet of any human who's eating. Not being allowed in the kitchen while someone's preparing food. Having to sit with food in her bowl and wait for the command word of grub, or chow, or whatever the word is, I forgot what we went through, before she has permission to eat her food. So the more that you can delay gratification, the more that she'll kind of develop more self-control and look for the human to be my guide and my leader. Always outlast her. If you tell her to sit and she walks away, get up and follow her. If she goes around the table, move the table so she can't go in loops. Eventually she goes behind a door, close the door behind you. Eventually she finds herself with her back against the wall. Then we say bark out the original order or say sit. This is why we do it very systematically and very slowly. We're like walking towards her like a zombie or a mummy. We're not aggressively following her, not saying sit, 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 sit. But we're telling her, if I tell you to sit, I expect to sit, and I'm willing to stop whatever I'm doing and follow through and get my way. If you do that for a month, the dog will learn when she gives me a command, it's not an option, it is required. And then the dog will start being more obedient quicker. Let me see what else. She doesn't have, she has a good amount of dog toys, but I would look for other things you can get her, like bully sticks, chicken feet, cod skin, tracheas, antlers. Dogs chew to soothe things. If we don't provide them with appropriate things to chew on, they will chew on the couch and the woodwork and other things. We don't want, we have a beautiful home here. We want to make sure it stays that way. Let me see, what else? I think that's pretty much it. We're gonna, also using the martingale leash with the special, martingale collar with a special twisted leash to stop her from pulling on the leash. The 5 rules for a structured walk that I went over when we went on the walk is rule number 1, stand, give her a side. So she always walks on your right side or left side, whatever you prefer, but that's her position. So she knows when we're walking, this is where I'm expected to go. Rule number 2, keep your arm with the leash hanging straight down and very loose. If you're pulling it back, you're trying to pull in her position, you're going to activate her opposition reflex, she's going to pull against you. Rule number 3, the correction is a quick pop up, and this is how fast it should go. You want to go up and you want to go down faster than you go up. So the idea is there's only tension on her on the line for a fraction of a second. Rule number 4 is no stopping and sniffing. I'm not saying the dog can't sniff. That would be very cruel to a dog to say it can't sniff. But if she's sniffing and she stops to sniff something and I stop, then she's telling me what to do. She's in charge. That can be confusing for the dog. So instead, when we're walking, if she wants to sniff something as we're walking by, that's fine. If she stops to sniff, I let my arm go limp and I keep walking. Eventually, the leash will get tense and it will pull her along with us without us pulling her. And then the 5th rule I have for a structured walk probably doesn't apply to her because she's a female and she's a puppy. I don't let dogs mark. If they pee a little bit in a lot of places, that's marking, and that can be problematic as well. But if we just, if we use that the quick pop of the leash anytime that she's doing something inappropriate, and we just let it keep going, and we don't let her tell us when to go, the walks will be more productive. Now, what I usually do this is what I call a structured walk. Those are the instructions I just went over. That's not your everyday walk. That might be temporarily your everyday walk. But eventually what we do is we go on a structured walk, maybe 3/4 of the walk, we walk in a normal structured way where the dog's in a heel position. Maybe the last quarter of the walk, if the dog did well, we undo the twist of the leash, we give the dog extra leash, and we let it sniff around and have a little bit more fun, more stimulation. So just like us when we're kids, if you eat your meat, you get a dessert, you get pudding or whatever it is. So if she does good work on the walk, then we give her a reward of letting her sniff and be more stimulated for the last part of the walk. And again, this should not be your everyday walk, because this is not the most fun walk for her. This is a good walk for leadership. I'm trying to think. I don't think that, I think I've pretty much covered everything, but if the guardian has any questions, she can always text me or call me. Make sure you let me know sooner rather than later. If I don't hear from you, I assume everything's going great. So if there's a problem, I don't care if it's a minute after I walk out the door or a year after I walk out the door, text or call me. I can only help you if you let me know you have a question. All right, Lulu. She's like, I am more interested in this bully stick than anything else that you got. Oh yes, look at this. Well, Lulu, can we get you to drop? She's like, no, I have a bully stick. If I open my mouth, I'm going to drop it. This is something else. This is something else we'll actually go through. Now, this is a high value item. What I'm doing is I'm just holding the treat here. She's got it caught on her teeth, actually. But as soon as she drops it, I'm going to pop it in her mouth and say the word drop. And this is a command that you should teach your puppy when it has low value items. We have a little green plushy toy or some balls. So you just hold the treat there. You don't say drop over and over. We just wait. And as soon as she drops it, then we pop the item into her mouth. Did she eat the whole thing? No, there we go. I think it's literally part of the tendon that's stuck on her teeth. But the idea is, as soon as she drops it, I pop the treat in her mouth and I say the word drop. So after we do this with low value items, then when she has a high value item like a bully stick, we say drop, she's happy to drop it, because normally when I say drop, the human says drop, I drop something, they give me a tasty treat, and then I get the original item back. So we want to teach her to drop on low value items that will help when she has your underwear or shoes or something she's not allowed to have. We can get her to drop and she's happy to do so. All right, Lulu, this is your roadmap to success. You're an awfully cute dog. Don't let that go to your head. Remember, everything you do trains your dog. Only sometimes you need it.